I'm here with my daughter, Danielle D'Souza Gill. I don't really know if she needs an introduction, but let me mention she's the author of the book The Choice, The Abortion Divide in America. She also has a show on Epoch TV called Counterculture with Danielle D'Souza Gill. You can get it right off the Epoch Times app. And we're here to talk about Justice Breyer stepping down. Well, I don't know if that was a surprise, but didn't Breyer say earlier that he was not going to step down?
Exactly. He had said that he didn't want to make the court political.
So that was his reason for not stepping down. But evidently he's now chosen to step down. Now, ideologically, it seems to me this is no big change because it preserves the 6-3 majority. Presumably a liberal or leftist is going to be replaced by another leftist. Breyer did vote occasionally with the conservatives, but not on any big issue. And he was for the vaccine mandate. I mean, on Roe versus Wade, you don't expect him to be going.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
He'll be voting to keep it.
Right. So what do you think his reasoning is for this shift of approach?
I think that there's been a lot of talk from the left about packing the court. And I think that's something Breyer really felt like would harm the integrity of the court. And so I think in some ways he might have stepped down in order to prevent the left from pushing that continually, instead maybe focusing on filling this seat as opposed to trying to pack the court. Although I don't think packing the court would have worked anyways because Manchin and Sinema wouldn't have voted for it. But I think maybe Breyer felt like he needed to give something to the left.
To diffuse the political pressure for the court packing. Now, interestingly, well, here's Jen Psaki, who essentially says publicly that they're going to be limiting the search to basically black women. So identity politics has made its way now to the Supreme Court. And let's think about this for a minute, because the court is not a ideologically or demographically representative institution. It is a creation of constitutional democracy, but its job is to be a check on the democratic majority. And how would you feel if you were, on the court, but you got the black female seat on the court? I mean, what a disgrace.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would just make you feel like, oh, I only got this because I was a black woman, because they said point blank, you're getting this because you're a black woman. So I think that would be pretty frustrating. And also just the fact that I'm sure that people can get that seat based on their merit. But, the left doesn't really care about that. I
saw a tweet today from one of the Obamites, Joe Lockhart, and he goes, Republicans better gear up. He's like, you don't dare to vote against a black woman who's the first black woman in history. So the implication here is that somehow our side is intimidated by this precedent of history. And I'm thinking, well, first of all, black women aren't exactly a key demographic base for the GOP. So,
not to mention the only black person on the court is on our side, conservative Clarence Thomas.
Right. So when they appeal to this historic first, I mean, obviously they're not going to look at conservative black women. So it's not merely a matter of race and gender.
Well, I just mean them assuming that we're going to not like a black woman is crazy because we like this black man. I mean, right. I don't know why they would think that. They're the ones who hated Clarence Thomas.
I think it's also interesting that these are, the left after the recent events on the filibuster, blasting Sinema, blasting Manchin. These people we need to run them out of the Democratic Party. And amazingly, Schumer was part of this. Schumer actually, well, he didn't say that he supported it, but he didn't oppose it either.
Right.
And what that means is that I think that's a little reckless because Schumer now needs Sinema and Manchin both. He cannot afford to lose either one of them. And if even one of them is steamed and is thinking, well, you know what? We're going to teach these progressives a lesson. I don't think that will actually happen. Do you?
I don't think so. I think that they probably will vote to confirm this person, assuming this person is a legitimate judge and everything. But if they pick someone who's really extremely woke and then that person has been doing all kinds of political things, I think maybe they'd vote against them because Manchin might not want to be attached to that.
What do you think is the possibility? I think it's low, but people are saying on social media it's going to be Kamala Harris, because apparently that serves two purposes at the same time. On the one hand, they're embarrassed having Kamala Harris on the second part of the ticket. Sort of like we picked the black woman. I mean, think of it. It didn't work out there, right? So now they're like back to the black woman theory. But nevertheless, the idea is maybe we can shift her out of the White House and move her into the court. Now, she is ridiculously unqualified. I mean, she is a former attorney, to be sure. But just from her statements, she's an extremely...
She'd be part of confirming herself then. If the Senate was tied, she would have to be the tiebreaker in confirming herself over there. I guess that would be a way for the Democrats to get rid of her because they know how wildly unpopular she is, so they can scoot her off away. Then I guess she becomes kind of a meaningless vote because they have the minority anyways in the Supreme Court. But I think that would be just a new level. And because it kind of signals, hey, this is the only black woman in the country we can pick for anything. She's the only black woman in the country we can pick to be the vice president. She's the only one we can pick to be on the Supreme Court. I mean, there have to be better options.
The other thing I think is kind of funny is that two names that have circulated, usually in tandem, are Michelle and Barack Obama. And what I find particularly funny about this is the assumption that both of them are women. Obama too. So the gender fluidity within the Obama family is apparently playing out here, and again, I think this is unlikely that they'll actually do that. My guess is they will look for a black female judge somewhere down the line and try to have that person go through.
Right. And they might also, maybe another reason Breyer stepped down is because he knew that a lot of conservative decisions were going to come out this year. Maybe overturning Roe v. Wade and some other things. So he thought, let's try to give the Democrats some positive news.
Oh, that's interesting. In other words, you're saying that, well, this is a good point. Now, if you think of the Dobbs case, right, which is the abortion case from Mississippi, although the decision is supposed to come out in the spring, the justices vote on it much earlier. Then they go into the rigmarole of writing the majority decision, then they pass that over to the minority, they write the dissenting opinion. All of that takes weeks. So it is possible that the judges know how this decision is going to come out, obviously including Breyer. And I guess what you're saying is that Breyer thought, well, look, if these guys are going to take a major blow, maybe I can head off the storm a little bit by exiting myself. Or maybe he's like, I don't want to be at the scene when this comes down. I'd rather be, in my beach house in Massachusetts. And we'll let the firestorm engulf other people along the way. Now, he's staying on till the end of his term.
Yeah.
And so
I do think another thing surprising, though, about him retiring is that he actually seems pretty lucid. He's not like Ruth Bader Ginsburg was, where she's falling asleep and incoherent. It seems like he's still a person. So I think him stepping down is still a pretty political decision.
Although I think if we were to apply the lucidity test across the board, this would imply that Pelosi and Biden might want to step down.